It's always game day in Cleveland. He's Daryl Ruiter. I'm Andy Baskin. And as always, like I said, Daryl always seems to be in the same spot. Although in the next edition of It's Always Game Day in Cleveland, Daryl will be somewhere in beautiful West Virginia, right? Take me home, West Virginia.
I'll be hiding in a bunker somewhere in the middle of West Virginia. Both
I
literally
am in
and figuratively.
I am in our downtown studios today. The studio that we normally do our regular radio show is across the hall. Meredith is actually in the building today. She is across the hall over there too. So, but not that anybody really cares because we're talking about the Browns right now. And that's what we always talk about on this show when you're looking for the latest, more in-depth information on the Cleveland Browns and the rest of the NFL. You know, it's always game day in Cleveland. You know, we love having you as a part of the show, especially if you're watching now on our YouTube stream, which is always kind of fun too. So not only can you listen to us through the Odyssey app, but now you can watch us on YouTube as we do the show. And you can always follow us on Twitter and Instagram at GameDayCLE. Big news today. Go ahead, sorry.
Before we get into the big news, to subscribe on YouTube. It's youtube.com/@ the @ symbol 923 The Fan. And you can subscribe to the station page, which my understanding there'll be some things added to that in the coming weeks and months. But right now, our It's Always Game Day in Cleveland vlog or vodcast, right? Since it's video, our vidcasts or whatever can be watched there on YouTube. Thanks to those that have already subscribed to the YouTube page. Thanks to everyone that is subscribed to our podcast pages on Apple and Spotify, the Odyssey app, wherever you get them. We appreciate you. We love you. Leave us a rating. Tell your friends. Make sure that, again, most importantly, you subscribe. And you can even leave us a comment. And if you don't want to leave us a comment there, hit us up on social media at GameDayCLE or find us individually, Baskin or myself.
Yeah, the other thing, too, just to kind of lean into it, and as a present for you for watching and listening to us on Game Day in Cleveland, that there are cameras now in our on-air studio. So it's just a matter of time before I would think that you would be able to either see them hot or recorded for what we've done in our previous shows throughout the day. So that's a little gift from us to you. There are cameras in there now. The question is, when will they be used and where are we going with that? All right, now let's go to another story where there's a camera involved, only this one has to do with the exiting of a player for the Browns, former fourth-round pick. Perrion Winfrey is now out of work after being released from the Browns. Daryl, what's the latest on this story? And just kind of get everybody up to speed on what exactly happened.
Yeah, so what happened is Fox 8 on Wednesday morning published a story indicating
Fox 8 Cleveland, if you're watching somewhere else.
Fox 8 Cleveland. They published a story from their I-team in which Cleveland police had opened an investigation into Winfrey, who is accused of showing that he was carrying a gun to a woman during a disagreement with her. Video, by the way, of that disagreement from the alleged victim's perspective had made its way onto social media. And so the Browns, shortly after Fox 8 published their story, I got a text that, you know, our intention is to release Perrion Winfrey. We will have a formal announcement shortly. And that's when I started texting everyone that was working at the station to give them the heads up. Hey, this in fact is coming down. So before you go on and just trash the Browns because this guy is still a Cleveland Brown, understand that he will be released at some point, and the team will make that announcement when they were prepared to do that. And it just so happened to be like literally 2 minutes after I sent that text to a few folks, they did make the announcement that they went ahead and released him. And the bottom line is, Andy, is this. Production breeds tolerance with teams. The more productive you are, the bigger the star you are, the more teams are willing to put up with. Is that right? Is it fair? No, but that's life. The bottom line is that, yes, there are times where different rules and standards apply to different people. The other thing here to keep in mind is there is a lengthy, and when I say lengthy, I am not exaggerating. There's a lot of stuff that I have heard that I certainly am not going to publicize But none of it is good. Like, I have not heard anything good about Perrion Winfrey and various things regarding his professionalism as an NFL player for the Cleveland Browns. And they had been extremely patient with him. In fact, this offseason, they basically, I call them the come to Jesus meetings, right? Where they say, hey, listen, if you don't shape up, you're going to ship out. It's that simple. We're done. You're on thin ice. This is it for you. And they had that meeting with him this offseason after he was charged in Texas with that misdemeanor assault, which, by the way, got a second lease on life with, because the charge got dismissed. He had to complete a diversion program. And yet it was a misdemeanor assault charge. But if you read what he was accused of in that, some pretty disturbing stuff. And so enough was enough for the Cleveland Browns. And
it didn't take long, though, for him. You know, we talked about this on the air that, you know, I wonder when the Browns were made aware of what the situation was going on. And then, you know, it was weird. It was like the morning show, Ken and Anthony had been saying this is going on. And literally in the 3 minutes that we were switching people in the room, he had been released. I mean, it didn't take very long. But you had talked about kind of the inner workings of how this stuff goes along. And then the other point is, I think fans might say, well, you know, he wasn't arrested and there's no official legal matter other than the fact there's an investigation, which is, those are just words. And then they let him go. I mean, any boss can let anybody go like that. I mean, it's the way it is. Now, if it's wrongful termination, then you figure that out in court, but it doesn't feel like it's wrongful. I don't know. I mean, I know that this story is not a good story. How's that sound?
Yeah, I mean, the players get waived every day in the National Football League. So
correct. That's a bigger point.
They are not required to specify why they waived him, but connect the dots. It's real easy to understand why the Browns waived him. You're right. Not a good situation. Again, allegations are just that. They are allegations. But look, they put up with a lot of crap from him last year as a rookie. I mean, he was sent home from practice because of unprofessionalism, and was inactive that week. He did not return to the facility until after the game had been played. And then basically he was on probation, for lack of a better phraseology. So, and there were, my understanding is there was a lot of other stuff that was going on behind the scenes with him, and missing team meetings and or positional meetings. Not basically, I'll just say this. He was not fulfilling his obligations as a professional football player for the Cleveland Browns. And you had coaches, you had members of the front office, you had teammates. They all were trying to wrap their hands around this guy and help him and explain to him. So it's hard for me, and I don't mean this to sound cold and callous, but I have no sympathy for Perrion Winfrey. You had a chance to create a once in a lifetime opportunity, whether it's wealth for your family, play in the National Football League, things like that. He had these opportunities and he blew it by getting involved in this nonsense off the field. And it's unfortunate. I guess that's where my sympathy ends. Like, it's unfortunate. He had a golden opportunity, and unfortunate that he wasn't able to take advantage of it. It's unfortunate that he was given second and third chances and fourth chances and fifth chances with the Browns, and that it ultimately resulted in his release.
All right, Daryl, let's do this. Let's take a quick time out. We're going to come back and talk more about the Browns. A big day as this week as we start to explore the players coming to town before they head to West Virginia. The start of everything is here right now with the rookies and the quarterbacks reporting to Berea.